First off, everyone here who probably doesn't know because I don't really upload anything about it, I'm actually a really big fan of PSO 2. Yeah, I've heard that. Apparently Miyamoto's here. That's PSO 2! Yes! We finally get PSO 2! Oh my fucking... Oh my god! Oh my god, what? So needless to say, when New Genesis was announced, I was also rather happy. The first thoughts that went through my head really were, what is this game? Is it like, they say it's an expansion, what does that mean? Do we bring over how much stuff comes over? Do we keep our characters? Do we start fresh? Looking at the moves they're doing, like... It's pretty obvious looking at it, especially after all this time I got to look at it, because I kind of waited a little long to make this video. Looking at it, all the weapons and attacks they're doing, it's like the rifle is doing phantom movement, which normal rifle does this really clunky roll. It's old, but with phantom they realized to make this whole cool new stuff. And then you have the rod doing an étoile move, which was on one, but yeah, doing an étoile move, and then the like star cannon or orbital strike, orbital strike attack on the rifle, and the rod doing the étoile move both seem to be photon bursts, because you see the photon burst at the bottom goes away when they use those moves, and you also see no mags. So like all this question of what is this game? Is this essentially like Phantasy Star Online 3? Remember in Japan, if you saw the trailer that announced the next Scion or successor class is a Gunblade class, at the end of it, it said up next is not episode 7. So like New Genesis is basically that, not episode 7. So what is this? And since then, new information has come out that has told us that essentially, yeah, it's an expansion, but for all intents and purposes, this game is basically Phantasy Star Online 3, which I'm so excited that we're actually getting that in the West, because we didn't even get a PSO 2 until like this year. Like, it feels crazy to think about that, but we didn't get it until like March, I think, came out on Xbox around April, March, and now it's finally on PC and everyone's playing it. Something else that got announced since then is we're getting a Steam version with like Half-Life crossover stuff coming over here from that, and like since it's on Steam, it's gonna be in more countries and stuff, and we're all safe from the Windows Store, which even as a Microsoft fan, that thing is a mess. But yeah, anyway, back to New Genesis. I'm just you can tell how excited I am. Yeah, basically it's like Phantasy Star Online 3, but they're keeping the Phantasy Star Online 2 branding on it. So instead of deciding that, hey, scrap everything, start fresh, we'll just do it, do it all over again, they're like, hey, we made a good game, has a lot of brand recognition, a lot of people like the stuff they put into it. Instead of telling them, well, whatever, your stuff's over there, play with this, we're like, you know what, bring it over, we'll let you. So some things they've announced that we'll be able to bring over actually is weapons, units, mags, and all the customization options. All of them. I thought maybe they won't do that. There's 8 years of them, and this is a brand new engine, obviously, which I didn't even talk about the fact that the engine is like open world and all this stuff. Well, like not really open world, but it's way more open than before. We see like them running past signposts and stuff, which is like, that's all new territory for Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star has always been like hallways, corridors. With PSO 2 or PSO 2 New Genesis, it's going to be a huge map you can just explore with all this stuff, and you see there's new movement options to make up for that. So like we have like a run. Yeah, you run in PSO, but it's obviously isn't like a more like a faster run is I guess the idea of this, like an actual sprint, and a glide, which a lot of open world games they put in a glide so you can actually get around more. Kind of leans to it being probably open world. But yeah, what they said with weapons is that you're able to bring over your weapons, but they say the designs will not change. Well, the fundamental design of the weapon won't change, but stats, augments, and potentials will change. And they say higher rarity weapons, you probably can't put them on until you reach a certain level again. Come back to that. And that if it's a weapon for a class that's not in New Genesis, you have to wait till that class is in New Genesis to actually use it. Which again, very much hints to the fact this is basically Phantasy Star Online 3. So units, same deal. Stuff comes over, but they're going to change functionality of units. Big thing they said is units will not be visible. Units are pretty hideous in PSO 2. I don't know what PSO 1. Units are pretty hideous. A lot of times they turn them off. So in New Genesis, they're just gonna be off. That saves them data server side. They don't have to render all those for most people to turn them off. Makes sense. Mags, you bring them over, but with mags, what they said is that the mag will come over, but it does not affect you at all. No stat, doesn't affect you with stats, and doesn't help you in battle. But all your evolution device come over, so you can keep your mag as a cosmetic item. But besides that, it's just cosmetic. If you want to have a mag, keep it. Now, the mag system is just one of those things that is what I hope New Genesis really fixes, is that Phantasy Star is kind of full with a bunch of old archaic things. The menuing is 8 years of it, so finding stuff is pretty convoluted at times unless you know what you're doing. Even then it's annoying. Mags is a very old system, basically carried over from PSO, like the original Phantasy Star Online. PSO 2 kept, changed very little with, like, mags got level increases in JP and they hit 200 and they never touched them again. So at this point, why not just phase out mags, roll that into characters, make it more simple, because it's very easy to mess up a mag unless, again, someone tells you how to play the game, which is a problem Phantasy Star has that hopefully New Genesis is going to be addressing and making good changes towards. Also, they're going to allow you to keep your cosmetics, which is a very interesting change because honestly, in my opinion, they could have just deleted everything and started over. I wouldn't care. I care more about playing the new game and, you know, increasing strength and stuff. But for the people who do care a lot about cosmetics, the fact that it's named PSO 2 still, an expansion basically as they're calling it, it's cool that they let you keep that. So I'll keep some stuff that I like, and yeah, you know, it's a win-win. Also, it's a good sign of good faith from SEGA, because literally they could have just, like I said, they could have said, forget it, spend all the money again, and not spend time remaking 8 years worth of items. But another cool thing they're doing is they're actually keeping the original PSO2, and they're going to update its engine to be the same as New Genesis, so you actually get the benefit of being able to play both and looking better. Alright, so we're talking about all the things that can transfer between games. Let's talk about the things that can't. So first off, skill rings. Skill rings is an okay system. It's felt like a band-aid put on PSO2 to improve some things that weren't so great without putting in new talents or stuff, and gave you some customization, but there's the best thing, so you got rid of them. I'm fine with that. Take some of the cooler stuff and that, just roll into the base classes or just redesign them as they seem to be doing, so whatever. Concealable items for battle, growth, and enhancement, so like your 7% experiences and stuff. New ecosystem, they don't really want that. Along with that, Meseta can't transfer over, but AC and Fun can. Oh no, sorry. Fun cannot, Meseta cannot, but AC and Star Gems can. So again, boost items can't transfer over, materials can't transfer over, and furnishings can't transfer over. Furnishings interesting, because it makes you feel like they're just going to create the room feature, which was dated. It's kind of a fun thing, but it's not really a focus, so yeah, just get rid of it. Also, a very big thing, your levels, your experience, your class skills, your foot and arts, and your techniques are not shared between PSO2 and PSO2 New Genesis. Basically hitting home the fact this is basically Phantasy Star Online 3. So you're re-rolling, you're starting from fresh. Another thing that hints to this is something I learned, which people who know PSO already realize this, I just learned this from looking up stuff, that it says that we've been told that this takes place 1,000 years after PSO2. So in between 1,000 years in Phantasy Star is when Profound Darkness, the rift holding Profound Darkness back, wanes and it can bleed through again. That's what the old Phantasy Star games, that's what happens in PSO, and now PSO2 it's happening again. Which makes sense because what I assume to be the last boss in Japan, which this is a slight spoiler, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear it, but the main body of Profound Darkness is the final boss in Japan. Makes sense it's the last boss, because where do you go after beating Profound Darkness itself, which is like the big bad of everything in PSO. So they skip 1,000 years, and then the threat can happen again in different ways. Also, I can't get over this is a simultaneous release. That they're all this time, we're getting basically PSO 3 at the same time as Japan. This makes sense why they've been speeding through PSO 2 and NA, which seemed like, oh, well, you got a lot of time to wait. Once you hit episode 4, and it's level 80 cap, and all this stuff we have to speed through, and just the speed at which we're moving through everything, makes a lot of sense, because they're trying to catch up before this game comes out. And yeah, I mean, I'm so excited. I can't believe it's happening. I can't believe it's actually happening, and we're going to get to play it at the same time as Japan. And it's just like, I'm just happy, man. I'm so happy. Like, as someone who really enjoys Phantasy Star, it's so sick that we're getting, like, not only have we gotten PSO2, not only are we getting parity, accelerated rates, we're actually catching up. Like, episode 4 drops in a couple days, that we're also getting the expansion / new game at the same time. Now, probably different servers still, because Japan is getting on PS4, Switch, PC, Switch is cloud-based, but yeah, all the systems it has it on, it's getting it. For an NA, we're getting it on Xbox and Windows 10. So it seems like Microsoft struck a deal that PSO will stay on console exclusive to Xbox, but also on PC if people don't want to buy an Xbox. And it was exclusive to Windows Store for a little bit, but now we know with episode 4 is coming to Steam. Also, again, as I said before, if you're like in EU or some other countries, the Steam launch is also adding like 33 more countries who can play the game. So hope for you to actually get in. But yeah, it's just some thoughts I've been having about it. Just kind of telling you what's going on, what I'm excited for. Like, I really hope that stuff from a 12, like, okay, a 12's not in the game. I want at least to still have dual blades, because I really like that. So I would like them to keep dual blades. I want them to take some stuff from a 12 that's rolled into dual blades. It seems like a lot of the hero classes, sorry, call them hero classes as a habit from other games. A lot of the Scion/successor classes are probably not going to be in this, but they're going to take stuff from them, put them in the other classes. Like if dual swords, or dual blades, whatever you want to call it, or soaring blades, heathens. But if that's in the game and they have the ability to do like the Etoile specials or photon blast, I'll take that, right? Because that move is sick. Etoile is really cool. I would love to keep that spirit alive in some way. But yeah, that's all for now. Just break it into something I want to talk about, because honestly, that's where this channel is basically going. Just going to talk about stuff I like. Yeah. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this. If you have any questions about PSO2, let me know. Also don't want to do too many guys, but I wouldn't mind doing some stuff to help out people in PSO2. That game is convoluted as shit, and I've been playing it a lot, so I can help how I can. And my curse is being able to explain things well. Anywho, hope you enjoyed, and hope to catch you guys in the next video.
This is what you need.